about 12%, 180 bushel. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you're watching. Dad and I are back to that 40 that we got to yesterday, where he just went ahead and drove the combine with the flex draper attached over to the farm. We are finally back. We got the baby truck empty. We filled it last night, and we filled the cart last night. Cart I am emptying now. We were just waiting to get the Kenworth fixed. It was laid up in the shop. We finally got it serviced last night, and this morning we had a seal on the Wilson trailer, one of the axles. It was bad, and so we got that seal and that hub all fixed and ready to go. The Kenworth is back in action. I think we're finally ready for harvest. We've already got 200 acres out, but now we're finally ready. Apparently on that Deere, there's a nice feature where if you leave the grain, if you leave clean grain in the bin up top overnight, it can trickle down into the clean grain elevator. And when it does that, it'll slug the machine. When you go to start the separator, we had our neighbor tell us about that, because he was like, on our first machine it did that. If you leave grain in the top bin, it'll sit there and trickle down overnight, and it'll just fill that clean grain elevator, and when you go to run, it just slugs the crap out of the machine. So we decided to just get all the grain off of the combine, and we opened up the clean grain elevator, and only about a pile about size of this steering wheel fell out of it. So I'm assuming they fixed that, because that would be quite annoying if we couldn't leave a pile on the combine, because a lot of the times when we're getting finished with a field late at night and we can't go anywhere with the grain and the elevators are closed, you know, a lot of the times what it takes to get finished is both trucks full with the grain cart full and the hopper full on the combine. So hopefully that's not the case, and we can still fill it for overnight. But if that's something we got to deal with, I guess we just got to deal with it. There was something else that he told us about closing the bin for the hopper. You need to make sure you start the separator, basically start the whole back end of the machine before you close that bin if it sets overnight, to make sure that all of it's out of to make sure all that grain is out of the way or something. I don't know what he was saying, but either way, he said to make sure that you do that, because otherwise it'll pop the splines out of the gearbox or something. The grain will. Listen, this is all stuff we're learning, and luckily our neighbor has the same exact machine and has gone through these trials before we did. So he's been telling us a lot of information. He's been doing good by us. He's got the same head, same machine, the whole 9 yards. So we just ended up putting our monitor all to the same page as he has, so that if we have questions, we can call him and he knows exactly what we're talking about. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this truck loaded down. We're gonna take it to Spear, the elevator over there, and finish up this field. We actually knocked out over half of this field last night. So I gotta tell you, that machine being able to run 4.5, 5 mile an hour in beans, and honestly you could probably run faster, he just hasn't been. But it's really sped up our beans by a mile. We were only able to run 2.5 most of the time with that 7120, so, which understandably, this is a class 8 machine, so the 7120 is a class 7. You should be able to run that. Now, it's really nice that R&K which is our grain broker, our nearest grain broker. They have a lot of elevators around here. We've got, you know, a Cargill, ADM, Marquis is our ethanol plant nearest to us. There's a few more ethanol plants around us, but those are the main terminals that we go through. And R&K can basically sell to any of those. They're just a broker. But they're doing us a favor. They're allowing us to take these beans and all of our corn that we've sold through R&K. We would normally have to take them to Cargill, and they're going to let us take them to terminals a lot closer, and then they're going to deal with the bushels. Obviously, he's making money on it because it's not going to Cargill right away. He's going to just trade the paper and then store whatever we bring him and make money on it, which is, hey, we don't care because it's making our lives a lot easier because we do not have to go all the way around. With the bridge being closed in Lakin, that's where Cargill is. It just makes things so much easier for us. So I'm headed to Spear, which is only a 15-minute drive from here, versus going all the way to Lakin. Would take me 40 minutes probably. I just remembered I have the keys to the Kenworth in my pocket. So I've been driving with no key in this whole time. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to be able to do that, but I mean, it's been working. I've been, you know, anytime I get out of the truck and I want to leave it running, I just pull the key so that no one can take off with it. But apparently you can, because I just drove 15 mile anyway with no key in the truck. Maybe it's just so you can pull the key and lock the doors, but I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a key, I would think, right? I don't know. I guess it's still in the on position, so I guess how would it really tell? I don't know. It just kind of, I was like, oh, I reached into my pocket there for a minute and realized I still had the keys. Well, we made it back. I think the best course of action right now is I'm just going to get this cart empty, and then I think I'm going to stay here because I think the rest of the field should fit on the cart and the baby truck. We can go ahead and finish. That way I'm here to unload him on the go and he can just get done that much faster. This thing is chewing up beans so fast. I mean, we're going to be done with beans in no time. This is fantastic. Lovely. Should have done this a while ago. Well, he is working on his last pass now, and that's going to be it for this 40. We've got the 120 out south of the house, and this 40 out now. That's Dad calling now. Second. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead and empty out the cart.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to load the Kenworth the rest of the way, right?
Yep, and then I was just going to come back and get the rest of it and see if it's all going to fit on the baby truck. We got the Kenworth loaded down. We got the rest of the beans put onto the baby truck, and we are headed to a new farm. We got a 60-acre field not too far from here that we're going to be cutting. We, unfortunately, 2 of the patches are behind a school, and so we can't get to them right now because school is in session. So we got to wait until they leave so that we can get to the parking lot. So for right now, we're going to head over to the main field. Those are our grandmother's beans, so we're going to have to set up a bin at home, change a bin that we're already set up to for the patches. So yeah, it's going to suck. We're going to have to move the auger now, pick this field, and then move the auger back to the bin we already have it set up to. We were hoping that we could get to the patches first before we do this. Didn't work out that way. It never does. Like I said, we planned stuff, and then 5 minutes later, the plans just changed. Can you believe this guy just leaving beans on the ground like that? Every little bit counts these days.
Taxi's here.
What's that?
Said your taxi's here.
Yes.
All right, he's gonna move that over and I'm gonna pick him up again, and we just gotta get situated here. With it just being the two of us, it's the biggest issue that we have is obviously just switching fields. It's usually just a game of chess, trying to figure out what pieces to move first and when and where we gotta go, especially when the trucks are loaded and they gotta go to town yet. It's just... Before you fill any bin, you need to check to make sure the door's in it. Beautiful. Looks like I made it back just in time. He is just coming up to me now. Perfect timing, actually. Go ahead and get the cart unhooked from the truck, and then he can take me across to the Kenworth. I don't think I'll ever get used to seeing that green coming across the field. Just so used to the red combines. He's been running the whole time. Ugh. Diesel's cheap. Thanks, Joe Biden. Or I mean Obama. I think our dinner is here. Wonderful. Now he knows, he better know that he cannot dump on me yet, because I am keeping track of the bushels that we have by the scale on this cart, and if he starts dumping on here, it's going to mess up my weight. Just don't forget, you cannot dump on me while I'm dumping. Oh great, that's deader than a doornail. Don't you do it. 56, 800 actually. Stop that. Keep track of that. Back up so that you can dump on the cart. My tarp isn't rolling up. Close. We don't want that. Don't want to go down the road without the tarp. I don't know how long we're going to be able to cut beans tonight, because that dust is just going nowhere. meaning that there is no wind whatsoever. And so the dew is going to settle in very quickly. It is already 6:30. I'm betting within an hour they might be tough to cut. I don't know yet. Oh man. Life of the grain cart driver slash semi driver slash grain system handler slash not the combine driver with auto steer and air conditioning and a fridge. Well, we finished the field. 10:48, not bad. Good morning. This morning we're just topping off this bin. We got the Kenworth unloaded. The baby truck is running out into the bin now. Dad's just making sure we don't overfill it, but this baby truck is not going to fit into this bin, and so we're gonna have to stop it a little short and then haul the rest of town. And then after we're done with this, we can close this bin up and we're done with it for the fall. It ain't a big one, but still saves us money. Sometimes we store them for too long and the price goes down. So we're gonna finish loading up this bin, and then we're gonna head to a new field because we ended up finishing that other field last night of beans. We're gonna head over to the combine, get it blown off, take it down the road. You know, Dad's been running about close to 5 miles an hour through these beans, and I was really kind of worried what the sample was gonna look like, but it's really not bad. I mean, yeah, there's a few pods left in here, but that's just because they really were tough to open. But I mean, the rest of this, it looks really good. Very happy. Well, bye Jingos, we're gonna get it in the bin. Makes my life easier, I don't gotta take it to town. I don't know how, but we got them in there. It's a good thing too. That bin's probably over full. And that was the one we were worried might collapse soon because the seams are busting. We forgot to do anything about it. So it's a good thing that one's real nice and full. I don't know why, but I was just curious, kind of feeling the side of this bin. This 55,000 bushel bin. Feels awful hot. So I'm gonna turn the fan on because we don't, I don't know, this side feels okay. Maybe it's just the sun on that side. I'm still gonna start it anyway. We really don't want any corn going out of condition. Well, we gotta get set back up to this other bin here, so you know how much I love climbing bins. Figured I may as well climb this bin 2-3 times this year. Gosh, I hope this wind keeps up. Hope it stays all day and all night and doesn't rain. And we can just cut beans till 6 in the morning tomorrow. Just a little. Just keep coming back. Swing it. Collar there. Spout's actually shooting to the left anyway. Goodness gracious. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head the Kenworth over to get the grain cart empty. Combine is sitting over there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take the leaf blower with me and get the combine blown off as well. Dad is gonna run over to another farm to check and see if the beans are ready. Hopefully they are. We can head straight there, and that way we're just kind of close to done in this area. And we can finally head north, start getting our Henry area taken care of. Time to blow off this combine. We just don't want to drag any of the weed seed or anything like that to the other farms. And not only that, but we did just catch a combine on fire, so we're gonna try and avoid that as much as we can, like the plague. Now, luckily there is a pretty stiff breeze here, blowing it away from me, so I'm just gonna stay on this side of the machine. Anyway, what I got here is an Ego leaf blower. The all-new Ego 530 CFM Google prototype, HD LED, Sony TV, Google prototype. Okay, enough screwing around. As you can see, we got quite a few beans cracking off the head. cracking out of the pods and coming up the head. And it's because this front belt here is running so fast. It's just flinging them up onto the combine. So one thing I don't like about this machine is you gotta have two hands to open the dumb wings here, panels. Whew. On the case, it's just a lever on the bottom side, so you can pull the lever and pull the panel at the same time. Pet peeve, not really a complaint, it's just that's much gooder. Very clean. Beauty. On to the next one, old son. You know what I haven't done yet? Is left the hopper open on the truck when I went to fill it. I guess if you had the power ones, that's probably how it happens. If you have the ones that are in the cab with just a button or on the side of the truck, I could see that. And you're on a pit, you just open the dumb thing all the way and then you take off and forget about it. Hey, while we're moving this stuff over to the next farm, you know, I figured I may as well say just thanks for watching. Those of you that have subscribed, I appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you know, feel free. It is all free. Like, comment on the video, you know, Dad and I read it. Hope you have a good one. So we're headed over to a 40-acre field. But in between there, we actually have a 6-acre patch that we gotta cut. We've been farming it forever. And it was a lot bigger than 6 acres to begin with, but the guy kept putting it back into CRP and food plots for his deer hunting and stuff like that, and it's down to 6 acres, and we still cut it just because he doesn't want it totally in CRP. And not only that, but the deer like it better too, so he gets better hunting out of it if we grow a crop there. We'll farm an acre in the middle of the timber if we have to. That's just who we are. Welcome to our little 6-acre oasis here.
All right, I'll cut a hole. We'll bring the truck in.
Sure.
This ain't gonna take.
No, this will be done in 5 minutes. That's why it's kind of annoying that we had to drop the head just for this. But again, like I said, we'd farm an acre patch if you have it. Yeah, I thought about unloading them on the go in this thing, but I probably better behave. Just in case it rains. 6 acres are out though. At least we got something done today. About 12%. 180 bushel. You know, the red Macdon just didn't match with the green cart. He's gonna go ahead and head out now. I'm gonna go grab the pickup, bring it over here, hook it up to the head carrier, move it out on the road, move the baby truck out at least towards the road, just in case it rains and we do have to pull it out of here. And then I'm gonna bring him the head, and we'll finally start in on our 40-acre field that we're headed to. Here she sits until probably later tonight, maybe even tomorrow. Oh my gosh, okay. Musical equipment is done and over with. Everything is over at that 40-acre farm. I gotta run this to town, all the way to Lakin, around where the bridge is closed, so I gotta go all the way around through Henry. Yeah, I may get 2 loads over there today, but we did get set back up to the other bin where we've got beans, or room for beans, so hopefully we can get this 40 done today. It's just, this is what I mean. I mean, we got a lot done yesterday, a lot done, and the day before, but everything was close, bigger farms, bigger fields. And just messing with that 6-acre field and having to move everything just between the 2 of us, it takes a while. It takes a long time. We could have been cutting beans all day, and we got a chance of rain soon. But now the beans on that 120 that we ran first, they were above 80. They were just above 80. These beans here in this field, this is clay, a little bit of black dirt, mostly clay though, across the road, especially in those patches. They made about 75. And that little 6-acre patch, believe it or not, I think it made about 76. So the beans are really good this year, really good. I was thinking they were going to be terrible just because, you know, they were stunted for so long. But as Dad always said, the worse the beans look, usually the better they are. The better the beans look, they're usually average, if not worse than what you'd expect. So well, I showed up to the elevator and there was nobody around. The pit's kind of closed. Finally, after a few minutes, somebody walked out and said, we're switching all to a new system. It's gonna be a bit. So after following a combine and a grain cart and a bunch of other stuff all the way here, I got here a lot later than I thought I would. And now we gotta wait for technology. Okay, well, as it turns out, I was the very first truck to roll through there on that new system. So now I feel special. Seriously, their very first time using that system, and I was the first truck at the Cargill here. They got a whole new system going on, and actually the ticket they gave me is printed out. It's a lot easier to read, much bigger, and hopefully it speeds the process up for them. Obviously, me being the very first one, they had to call IT and figure out what the heck was going on. So I don't blame them, and I don't mind waiting, you know, if they're gonna get a better system in there to where it's a lot easier for those guys. You know, I'm all about the technology. Let's hope it runs better and isn't a total headache for them like most technology. Farm is always a sketchy one to get in and out of. He's got a pretty small entrance here and a mailbox right there on the road. Perfect spot for where I really need to put the truck. Fortunately, we are turning left today. Usually if I'm going home, I gotta turn right, and it is really hard to make it out of here. I gotta get real close to the culverts, and it's usually never a good time. But I still, even coming from this side, I gotta pull into the ditch just to miss his culvert there, which I barely made it. Now that I'm going to Putnam, I'm pretty close, and so I don't think Dad has a full load for me. He does not. He's only got 34,000 pounds on. I need about 56 really to have a good load. So it looks like he is headed back towards Catton's now. Dad has finally got the backside done. Just got this one little patch here. And the sunset is absolutely beautiful. It's a shame the truck is blocking the view. Whatever's left will fit on this truck. We'll take it home, try and get everything moved over to Henry, and then we can base our operation around Henry for a little while anyway. And things will be a lot easier. We won't be playing musical equipment, you know, just trying to get everything situated. We can actually get a lot done. Of course, the day that it's probably going to rain tonight, so we're not going to be able to do anything anyway, but it'll be nice to be up there, because if we do get some moisture, we can go get our corn head. It is still sitting at the dealership. The head carrier and the corn head are in total opposite directions of each other, about 40 minutes apart, so that's going to take half a day just getting that stuff. But if it does rain, we can just go get that corn head, make sure it's going to be field ready, and then we can start picking some corn. Leave these beans to dry out a little bit, because they're about 11.5, 12% now, so a little bit of moisture will definitely ruin our bean cutting. Oh man, I wish the camera could really do this stuff justice, but it just doesn't.
I'll go ahead and head out with the combine if you want to empty the cart because you can catch me with the head carrier.
Okay. If you can see the pile in the truck, you let me know, because I cannot. I know I shouldn't say this, but despite the combine catching on fire, this harvest has been going rather smooth. And I would say it's probably because we have a new combine that can eat beans at 5 miles an hour. It makes a huge difference if you think about it. We were running about maybe 2.5 miles an hour in beans with that 7120. And now we're running anywhere from 4.5 to 5, let's say 5 for easy figuring. I mean, theoretically, if we could pick a 100-acre field in a day with the 7120, we could pick 200 acres with this 780. So it does make a huge difference. I don't know if you can see that lightning, but hopefully it's not coming towards us. Uh-oh, I can hear pitter-pattering on the windshield. Hopefully it don't rain much. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of rain. Well, it is really coming down. So I would say the plan tomorrow is go get a head carrier and a corn head, because we are not going to be cutting beans. If you think I can see anything right now, you are sorely mistaken. Anyway, that's it for this video. We'll catch you in the next one.